guys, it's Reagan and welcome to the start of another challenge 24-hour reading vlog. So, sent you down, let's chat about this. So I decided to do a 24-hour read-a-thon vlog kind of chaotically last minute, but truthfully, I woke up today just really rushed and anxious and I wasn't feeling my best. So I thought, you know what, Reagan? Pause the responsibilities. You're gonna do nothing but read for the next 24 hours and it's gonna be great. You're gonna feel great, and then, you know, it's an avoidance tactic. And then everything, you can deal with everything later. So that is the plan of this vlog. I picked 3 books. Some of them are pretty cozy or character oriented. All of them are fast reads, and I'm hoping to just spend the next 24 hours doing things that bring me comfort and joy, and also reading as much as possible. So let's chat about the books. Ignore the Matilda hair on this carpet, but these are the 3 books I have picked out. They're all pretty reasonably length, so I think I'll be able to at least knock out 2 full ones and start a third. At least that's my hope. The first is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. This is like a cozy fantasy story about in a adventure opening up a coffee shop in like a fantasy town and setting. It just sounds really cute and charming. I've heard excellent things about it, so I just want something that's kind of, as I said, cozy. I also have Light from Uncommon Stars by Raika Aoki. It's a very queer, character-focused story about unlikely characters kind of coming together and kind of entering a new chapter in life together. And one of our main characters has made a deal with the devil, and basically they need to convince different violin prodigies to sell their soul, and that's kind of like how the book itself kicks off. And then the last book I have is The Beautiful Ones by Sylvia Morana Garcia, which is following a young girl who has just debuted into society, but she also has like telekinetic powers, which kind of makes her the center of a lot of gossip, and she wants to become a part of this very illustrious social group called The Beautiful Ones. So all these books, again, are not super long, and I'm hoping will just really capture me and I'll read them quickly. That's the plan there, and those are the books I hope to read over the next 24 hours. So yes, this really is a vlog where I am actually ignoring all of my responsibilities to just take a pause. I'm just literally saying I'm going to pause on life and I'm going to do something I know I like, and then I'll just kind of pick it back up tomorrow. So hopefully this is like a, you know, productive and like fun thing to do. You know, fingers crossed. I'm hopeful. And anyway, I'm excited about these books. I'm excited about this vlog, and I'm looking forward to kind of having a nice time reading and also just doing other activities I really like over the next 24-hour span. So let's get started. I think I'm actually going to start with Legends and Lattes. It says a novel of high fantasy and low stakes, which I just think, I don't know, it's exactly what I need right now. And it also is only about 300 pages, so I also think I'll be able to read it pretty quickly, and I just hope it's cute. So that there is the plan. But before any reading can truly be done at all, I do need to make a fresh pot of coffee, so we're gonna do that now. Another girl who's a bit tuckered out. Matilda is also ready to be cozy. Fresh cup of coffee. I'm gonna start my first book. And I also grabbed a fresh bookmark. A fresh gin bookmark. Honestly, still can't talk about it. Will cry. But anyway, going to start reading. Great news. I have already read 100 pages of Legends and Lattes, and this book so far is a delight, and it's definitely delivering what I hoped, which is like an easy, cozy, entertaining, but ultimately like lighthearted and very like low stakes read. And so far it's just cute, and I think the concept is just so fun that I can't help but just be like finding it very endearing. It's kind of giving me the same vibes I get when I play like a farm sim game, you know? Like some of it's pretty predictable, but that's kind of why you love it. This story follows our main character, Viv, and at the beginning of this book, she has retired from being like an adventurer, a campaigner. She has left her like warrior group, and she's looking to not just retire, but to finally follow her dream. And that is to open up a coffee shop. The first 100 pages or so are her basically finding the location, building it out, working with some people in the area to do the carpentry, hiring her first employee, getting settled in, and just kind of like working out the general kinks of like pre-opening shenanigans. It's so far just exactly that. Like nothing wild has really happened. We're following Viv like settle in and like open up a coffee shop. It has like Lifetime contemporary vibes, but what makes it so fun is that it is a fantasy book, like from the setting to like the town setup to the characters. Viv, I want to say, is an orc, so there's a lot of like stereotypes related to like her class like you would find in like a video game. Her carpenter was a hob, her new employee is a succubus. There's all different types of creatures and humans kind of running around this town, and they all have kind of like the fantasy stereotypes that you would expect, but it's very much like everyone's just like living though. There's no big like monster or quest that needs to be done. Like the quest is making this coffee shop. And so far the first 1/3 of it I've read, it's just been really charming. Like again, not much has really happened, but like I'm just really endeared to the whole thing. And I don't know, I'm just looking for a cozy time, and this definitely is delivering so far. And I'm like rooting for a main character, Viv. I love this concept of like putting down the sword, picking up the barista espresso machine, like instead. Like I think it's such a fun concept, and as someone who like daydreams about opening up my own coffee shop slash bookstore, like this has all the vibes. And like coffee, like clearly the author also loves coffee, because like I'm reading this book drinking coffee and I'm just like, yum, I could have even more coffee. Like the aroma, just the aesthetics of like a great cozy coffee shop definitely sings. So yeah, first 1/3 definitely has captured my attention. I will have no issue finishing this book this evening as I'm reading it so fast, but just wanted to give you an update as I've already read 100 pages. It's going down. You already know. Mac and cheese is done. Mac and cheese cam. All right, and just like that, truthfully, shortly after dinner, I'm already immediately in bed. Clay and I did hang out for just a little bit. I watched some basketball, but I've since retreated out to try to finish this entire book right now. But I did do more reading before we ran some errands. And I'm officially about halfway through this book, and it's continuing to just be what I was hoping. I mean, if anything, it's even cozier. Like it is very cozy. Like cinnamon rolls have been introduced in the picture. I'm just reading this and I feel so taken in by the vibe. Like I just want to join them. Like I want to get a cup of coffee. I want to get a cinnamon roll. I want to sit there and relax and talk and enjoy the atmosphere. And there's also this sense of like societal outcasts kind of coming together and finding a home in this place. Like this place feels very safe and comforting. And yes, like you also get this feeling that someone from Vic's past is going to show up and like a wrench is going to be thrown into things. But so far, just watching her work so hard to make her dream come true, and also like work with other people, rely on like everyone's like working together. Like it's very wholesome. Good morning, everyone. My camera died mid-sentence last night, so let me just get this cup of coffee. We'll go back to that update, and then, you know, it's on to carrying on reading once again. If I recall correctly, what I was saying before my camera so rudely died last night, more like absolute amateur hour on my part, was you get this sense that right now, like the primary conflict is watching our main character Viv like set up shop, kind of work through different obstacles you would face as a new business owner, you know, customer acquisition, introducing a new product on the market, and seeing her problem solve with not just like her own wits, but finding people who are passionate as well, and then like all of them working together is delightful. But you get this sense that I think someone from her past is going to show up, which is going to become more central to the story itself. After my camera died, I did just about finish this book, but I want to wrap it up and then just give like my final thoughts and feelings, as this book isn't like super plot heavy. So I'm going to do reading now, finish it, give you my final thoughts, enjoy my cup of coffee, wake up a bit, and then I will let you know. So I'm going to do that now. I apologize for the shift in lighting, shift in day. between my previous clip and this clip, but I'm gonna go back to reading. We're going to really tuck her down today. Today is like reading, reading, reading. That is the only thing I'm doing, and it's gonna be great. It's me, and I have finished my first book, Legends and Lattes, which is 300 and I want to say like 5 pages. Honestly, I flew through this book. This was the perfect palette cleanser book. I don't know. I've just been really distracted these last few months, and sometimes my reading is fine, and then sometimes I just feel like I can't settle into a book. But this was just a really delightful and cozy and incredibly low stakes read, which is what I wanted. It's like a book you know is going to end happily. It's a book you know that's going to have like things that characters need to overcome, but it's like heartwarming and inspiring. Like you're not too concerned that it's going to be like heart-wrenching or ruin your life, you know what I mean? And I definitely feel like Legends and Lattes delivered that, but it definitely has like really nice elements that make you feel good too. Like just because this book is low stakes doesn't mean it wasn't entertaining. It just fit perfectly in that style of cozy media that I really enjoy watching and reading. So I mentioned our main character Viv quite a bit, but what's so nice about this book too, it's very much about like a found family-esque community. Not only are we watching Viv like get settled into a new place and this coffee shop becoming kind of center to this street, this town, people becoming regulars, which is kind of like the joy of any community-based like space like that. But we're also watching Viv become surrounded by new people in her life. There's Tandri, who works side by side with her. There's a queer romance in this. There's Thimble, who is the baker. And honestly, this book has made me starving. Like every time I read it and hear about the things that Thimble is baking, I just like, I need it. I need a cinnamon roll. I need a croissant. I need to go to a coffee shop right now. It's just delightful and fun. Like it didn't blow my mind, which it wasn't trying to at all. Like that's not the point of this book. It stayed perfectly in its lane. It was charming. It was just like a really cozy, nice time. And I would read like round 2 of this. Like give me the winter time and this, give me like a holiday movie version of this. Like what are Viv and Thandri up to? Like how's the shop doing? It's cozy and cold outside. Are they expanding? Is Thimble opening up his own bakery? Like I want to know. I'm curious. And it was just like cute and fun and easy, and you know, I highly recommend it. If you're looking for like a cozy read, this definitely delivers that vibe in my point of view. And I read it fast. I've read 305 pages and I'm about to get changed and start book 2, which is great. I'm also going to make some frozen blueberry waffles because I'm starving, especially after finishing this book. So book 1 down, book 1 a success. It completely delivered what I was hoping, what I was expecting. So that is nice. It was just charming, my friends. It was just charming. Hello, I'm up, I am dressed. I'm wearing these like dusty lavender jeans today. Like they look gray, but they definitely skew purple. Lavender has just taken over my life in every way, shape, and form. My 2 other TBR books are over here. I'm about to pick up one of them to read, but first, as I said, blueberry waffles must be consumed. Actually, have I shown this off yet? We got a new fridge. It came in the mail. It's been delivered. It's something about when you buy your own fridge, you become very obsessed with it, and that's definitely what's happened. But what is very exciting is this is the freezer. Look at our little ice section. We have a little scooper, 2 different kinds. Captured my chase for Sonic Ice, but my frozen cookies and my blueberry waffles and all my ice cream are settling in very nicely in their new freezer space. I must say I much prefer Eggo. Hello, Millie. But I only had access to whole wheat organic blueberry waffles, so we'll see how these suffice. And I like to eat them without syrup, kind of like a pastry almost. But anyway, I'm gonna eat these and start my next book, which is The Beautiful Ones. I think I'm about to move to read more in the sunny front room, but I wanted to talk about The Beautiful Ones. I have not read much, only the first 4 chapters, which equates to about 30 pages, but oh My God, the melodrama this book is setting up to be, and the propriety and just the society setting is so good, like so entertaining. I love stuff like this, so it's just really delivering so far from a vibe point of view. I also didn't realize when I picked this book up, it's multi-POV. So the synopsis speaks to one of our main characters, which is Nina, who I have mentioned, and she basically has just moved into the city. She's staying with her very beautiful and illustrious like cousin-in-law. And she's basically preparing to debut in society, but she is kind of like a country bumpkin in some ways. Like, she's not very refined. She's not even like traditionally beautiful, and she also has telekinetic powers, and she's just really curious in a lot of things that aren't really becoming of a young woman, if you will. And at a party, she meets one of our other main characters, Hector, who is a very famous telekinetic performer, and he's traveled all around the world and done stage performances and all of that. And he is back into town, and he has a history because he was secretly engaged with and in love with Nina's older cousin, cousin-in-law, who's married to Nina's like cousin and who she's staying with and who's like she's being trained by, and she's named Valerie. We read from her point of view too. She's like beautiful and dashing and like important in town, blah blah blah, all of those things. I have gleaned all of that within the first 30 pages. The author has wasted no time to like put us in one of the most tense situations, because Hector is going to be courting Nina, but basically using it as an excuse to be close to Valerie, because he's like still in love with her, and like this love feels a little bit like an obsession, but possibly she could be too, but she's obviously married, and like Nina might be caught in the crossfires. But I also think it's going to involve like training from a magical point of view, but like it's palpable, like the intensity of feeling you get like right away. Like Sylvia Morano Garcia wastes no time, and all of this is wrapped up again in like a society setting, so like balls and like social expectations and just society itself. I love all of that. I love propriety. I love like stupid little walks that people have to take, and like dinner parties and expectations and dance cards and calling cards, like all of that. I just think it's like a fun setting for this type of drama to play out in. But I think it's gonna be like even more dramatic than I even realized, just based on this setup. Like, I knew Hector and Nina was like a courtship situation. He was like hiding a secret, but like this whole possible secret love affair with her older cousin and like using Nina as a way to get close to her, dramatic, scathing. I got to know what's gonna happen next. Like, immediately interested is all I have to say. Let's see if Millie follows me out of this room. I'm unsure. She looks pretty comfortable. Her legs are... she's pretty settled in. Reading sprint time. Okay, I've passed the 100-page mark, and I am loving the beautiful ones. I was expecting to like it because I really enjoyed this author's writing, and I've read many of her books at this point, but it's a recipe for like something I would just find so entertaining. Like, all the components, like the drama you feel in every chapter. I'm gonna set you down. Every scene is palpable, and then because there's literally all these scenes with all of these characters constantly together, Valerie, Nina, and Hector, and everything that is unsaid in every scene, like you just feel it. It's like there's so much tension and emotion, And also there's this feeling of like tragicness to it all because Nina is like caught in the crossfire. You know what I mean? Like she's this sweet girl who dreams of like a great romance and great love. And she's in love with Hector. She feels like he is the answer to all of her prayers. Like she was kind of made fun of growing up. She's kind of viewed as this like unusual woman for this time period. And she's like, oh, Hector understands me. But like, and like sometimes you get this hint of like maybe Hector does find her endearing and like does like her, but like all of his other motivations are just so messy. It's so messy and I love it. But now I'm gonna make lunch, which is great. I've read over 400 pages, which is pretty good. I'm definitely tracking to finish this book before the end of this vlog and start book number 3, which was always my goal. But I'm making another comfort meal, which is going to be grilled cheese and tomato soup. You know, just grilling that cheese and obviously making some tomato soup, which nothing like a canned Campbell's tomato soup to just brighten your day is how I feel. Lunch is done and now I'm going to try to prop my book up and do a classic eat and read combination. Thank you. Guys, I'm in love with this book. I was expecting to like it, but I don't know. This might be my favorite of her books so far. Just how everything is sort of lining up plot-wise. Like, I'm so invested. It feels like a drama, and I love a drama. Like, the setup of this, it's all just too good. And it's so beautifully written too, and you just feel the angst like seeping through every page. Besties, I need to talk about this book. Okay, so ignore my unmade bed. I have some fresh coffee. I'm obsessed with this book. I am obsessed with this flippin' book. I'm on page 200 of like 300. I'm for sure gonna finish it right after I film this clip because I'm obsessed with it. In some ways, I feel like I almost stumbled into loving this book, but I also feel like I shouldn't be surprised because of how much I love this author's writing. But honestly, like, this is like Pride and Prejudice with telekinetic abilities. I've also been craving a romance story, like a romance-centered story that also has like great writing, great angst, but the characters are likable and the situations feel, while very over the top, like you can understand why the miscommunication is there, and that is this book. Like all the drama and the emotions, like everything is so heightened, but you're also rooting for Nina and even Hector to like hopefully find their way together at the end of this journey. And there's all different types of obstacles that they're facing, from interpersonal to societal. It's just so good and I'm just so addicted to it. Like, I am completely invested in this book. I love the pacing, the romantic pacing, the story pacing, and the whole thing is just so beautifully written, and all the different like settings we find our characters in, from the parties to the restaurants to the shows, or of the city settings to the countryside settings, like everything just really shines through. And Nina, our main character, is so lovable. She's so earnest, she's so passionate, she's so looking to like find connections with people who just understand her for her. And you see situations where she's really put down, or she's struggling like within her family, especially with her cousin Valerie. But even that relationship is dynamic, because while Valerie at so many times you just kind of want to scream at her, she's also a product of the time and the society of a woman who's kind of forced to make decisions to save her family. And the only powerful decision that most women have during this time is the types of marriages they enter themselves into. And so like, as much as you get frustrated with Valerie, you can also understand her, which just makes it all so much more dynamic. But this book is just like sweeping and romantic and just, like, I would describe reading this for me. It's like I started a new show and then all of a sudden it's like 5 a.m. and I watched the entire thing. Like, I have felt completely sucked into this story, so connected to it, and just wanting to know what happens next. This book has felt like how I feel when I'm watching like a really good drama. Like, I'm so, like, every conversation, like every touch, or every like touch of the hand or whatever, I'm like, ooh, what's gonna happen? Like, I have to know. And it's just been so fun to read. I love this book. I'm like almost sad I'm gonna read it and then it's gonna be over and like, what am I gonna do? Like, I wish this was a whole series. I don't think it is, but I wish it was. Yeah, if you love like Pride and Prejudice, like that sort of like slower build romance with lots of angst, with also like a little bit of fantasy in this is it. This is selling. And I'm hoping it ends where my heart isn't broken at the end, but I am just obsessed with this book so much and I'm gonna go read more of it now. But so far, absolute knockouts for this 24-hour reading blog. I really enjoyed Lemons and Lattes. I'm loving this book. And I have really high expectations too for my third book on this TBR, which I feel like I'm definitely gonna be able to start. And once I finish this, I'll have about 600 pages read, and then my goal is to read about 100 pages more of my other book. But I really should make my bet, so I guess I'll do that right now, and then I'll go back to reading. Loved it. I'm emotional, dazzling, spectacular. I want to give final thoughts and feelings, but I'm running low on time for this read-a-thon, and I want to start my third book, Light from Uncommon Stars by Raika Aoki. And I'm trying to read 100 pages. So I really feel like if I hunker down, I'll be able to succeed, and then I'll have read about 700 pages over the past 24 hours, completed 2 books, started a third one, which I'll be really proud about. So I'm gonna hunker down now, get focused, and read. Actually, I'm a liar. I am going to read, but I wanted to actually give you more context about what this book is about, because the synopsis just sounds so charming. It's described as like Good Omens meets The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, which I haven't read the second one, but I have read the first one, which I really like. It's like cheeky and fun, and I'm hoping this book, while definitely dealing with some emotional topics, it's also really heartwarming and more about like a journey that these characters are going to go on. And the setup of the book just sounds so good. So the first character we follow is Shizuka, and she has literally made a deal with the devil. That deal is she must convince 7 other violin prodigies to also make a deal with the devil to sell their souls, and then her curse is lifted. When she stumbles across Katrina, a young trans runaway, she can practically feel the curse lifting off her shoulders, but then she meets our third character in a donut shop. This takes place in California, and I think they're all begin to like travel with each other. I think, again, it's supposed to be like a deep dive into like identity, but it also has this backdrop of like space travel, and just California, possibly road tripping. I think it has some sci-fi elements, as one of our main characters used to be a space pilot. I don't know, I'm hoping it's like emotional and moving, but ultimately heartwarming. I've also heard really great things about this book too, so I'm looking forward to pick it up. Again, I feel like I've read really strong books for this video. My attempts to pick up like cozy or just books I feel like I'd really love and fall into so far has been incredibly successful, which really makes me happy. And I actually feel very rejuvenated, both like personally and from a reading point of view, which is great. So anyway, enough jabbering. I only have about an hour and a half left of my read-a-thon, so I need to get down and read this. I gotta get serious. Not that I haven't been serious, but really serious. Hi friends, and welcome to the end of the vlog the next day. I just wanted to quickly pop in and chat about the 3 books I have been reading, starting first and foremost with Light from Uncommon Stars, because I haven't been able to share my thoughts about this yet. I was able to read the first 100 pages of this book, which means I hit my goal of 700 plus pages. And this book has really drawn me in. I do want to give trigger warnings for sexual violence, also just like misgendering, as well as like families' lack of acceptance for queer identity. But this book definitely mixes a lot of heavy topics, a lot of topics of people who are kind of lost, particularly with one of our main characters, Katrina, who is not only trying to find herself, but also find a safe place for herself. But we also have 2 other characters who are kind of on their own very unique journey, and they all kind of come crashing into each other's lives. So there's this really intimate, beautiful, character-led component of this where you feel really drawn to all the different point of views that you have. But there are these quirks to the story too, which I feel like add just like an interesting mix to this type of tale. I already have spoken on one of our main characters who has a deal with the devil, trying to find violin prodigies, but it's also more than that because she herself is also a violin prodigy. So the discussion of music is very central, and the love of music that these characters have and the solace and safety they find within music is really present within this book, which I really enjoy. But what I didn't know going in is that I knew Lan was a donut shop owner, but what I didn't know is that she's an alien from another planet and she traveled here to find safety, and so she and her family are like running this donut shop but also hiding all their alien technology. It's just kind of a quirk that I think works really well within this book, but I don't know, there's just this heartwarmingness to this entire thing too, because I really do, while there's a lot of pain, I'm hoping there's also a lot of joy and a lot of happiness that all these characters are going to find with one another. I'm not sure yet, I've only read 100 pages, but so far the writing has really drawn me in and I'm really liking the book quite a bit. And then obviously outside of those 100 pages, I read Beautiful Ones, which I love and I'm obsessed with. More people need to read this book. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be talking about this book all the time. And then also Legends and Lattes, which was that cozy fantasy read, which was also rather delightful. All these books, honestly, have burrowed in my heart in their own way. I find them to have been truly a perfect TBR for the type of things I was craving to read, and I'm really happy about that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon with another one soon. Goodbye!